All right. Hey there, everybody. Welcome. Christopher Inks with Texas West Capital coming at you live here a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on, what is this, Tuesday, the 27th of June, guys, almost July, 2023. How are you guys doing? I see Fibba Swanee's already showing up. Let's see here. CS is here, already asking, already requesting for charts. I've got some charts set up for you guys and some things we're going to look at. But the big question is 45,000 still in the cards, right? And we asked this question a few months ago. And at that time, everybody's like, oh, there's no way. And it's not going to happen. And all y'all were so bearish. And all of a sudden now, everybody's talking about 40,000, right? And funny how that goes, right? So here we are doing the thing, and everybody talking about the thing in which I have been talking about. And Fibba Swanee even's been talking about himself there. Since, much earlier this year, when everybody was saying, oh, you guys are so silly. There's no way. You guys use some, maybe not y'all, but people use some pretty rude terms. But it just goes to show you guys that, retail traders especially are very emotional. There's nowhere better to see this than on crypto Twitter, where everybody kind of gets out there and, with little to no experience, go out there and berate other people about their ideas about what may be happening. It's just absolutely silly. And hopefully you guys have been, tuning in long enough that you're seeing this yourselves, right? Let me see here. Who's already shown up here? We got, like I said, CS is here. Fibba Swanee's here. Frank, what's going on? Data, Andrew. Let me see here. Who else? Nevlusian. Jay Andrews, what's up? Sean Skizzle, what's going on, man? I like that. Aeroquin checking in as always. I know Aeroquin's been falling forever and a day. So yeah, guys. So, we're going to talk about some of that today and some of the other charts we've been looking at. It just is what it is right now. Now here's the thing. So we're kind of doing this, I've been doing this twice a week, hour and a half thing, for a while now. We're going to scale it back to once a week, guys. We're going to have a weekly show here. And let me tell you why. This is something I kind of alluded to previously. What's going on, Mark? We're going to take this show to one day a week. And as you know, I also do part of the show there on Wednesdays with Scott Melker in the morning. And then also, if you haven't caught it yet, you guys need to go check out the interview that I did with Gary Cardone. It's here on if you go to my youtube.com/Texas West Capital. There is a podcast section in there. And for now, anyway, that's where the podcast episodes are going to be located. So we're going to keep building on that. So first one done with Gary Cardone. Great interview, guys. Listen, I don't care what you feel about Grant Cardone or whatever. That's his twin brother. Or what you even, think about everything. The reality is this guy has been in markets and helping to make markets more efficient and more open since the early mid 80s, guys. He started out natural gas markets as we started getting into deregulation and whatnot here in Houston, moved on over to Europe for a while, led the stuff over there, came back over here. And of course, he's, been involved in a whole bunch of other stuff since then. Venture capitalist, entrepreneur, rich guy. But what I really want you guys, if you watch it, what I would really want you to pay attention to is what he talks about markets and pricing. Because yes, he talks about natural gas because that's where he came from originally. But the same concepts there's the same things I keep telling you guys about when it comes to every other market. And there's so much wealth of information in that. It's about 66 minutes long. Gary's a great talker. He likes to talk. I love it. But there's a whole bunch of information. You might not agree with some of it because, you don't like to pay taxes and whatever. That's one of his businesses. It is what it is, that he's invested in heavily. But, I'm sure Gary, if had the choice, he wouldn't choose to pay taxes either, right? I mean, I guess we all have choice, but, if the alternative is going into a cell, and I just would soon pay my taxes, wouldn't you guys? So yeah. Anyway, it's great. It's really a great interview. A lot of information there. He really opens up about a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of the different areas there will help you kind of hopefully tone down a lot of the just the outright a lot of times silliness that comes with Bitcoin. People, Bitcoin's here, and they're talking way up here, right? The things that are much likely never happen or whatnot. And this kind of gives you a nice balance in it while still being very, very pro Bitcoin. And Gary is very pro Bitcoin, guys. So just some thoughts in there, maybe hopefully get you guys a little bit better understanding. Again, he's been through a lot of these big things. So something to look at, guys. Okay. Let me see here. Let me kind of catch up with you guys. What's going on, LXT? I see you there. And Genghis, I see you showed up as well. Eric says, so if TWC goes to one show a week, does that move Fibbo to Tuesday? Well, it depends on what day we're doing it. I haven't figured out what day we're going to do it yet. Might do it on Tuesdays, might do it on Fridays. I think I'm leaning toward Friday show just because I have a little bit more time on that. And so we can really kind of delve into how the week has been and then the setup for the next week. So, so we're going to do that. Like I said, we're going to have more podcasts coming on the Bearded Trader podcast. And then I've got another podcast I'll be starting, guys, called Because Success Matters, where we're going to be talking to people who have really just kind of gone above and beyond and made their lives what they want it to be. And so that way you guys can get ideas that, hey, it does happen. It can happen to me. What steps do I need to take? Stuff like that going on there. So, Erico says Bearded Trader is a great name. Yeah, I got a beard. I'm a trader. I had to spend a pretty penny to buy it, the domain name. But it is what it is. So anyway, that's also got. Oh, one other thing, guys. I put out a question on Twitter yesterday about, I was looking at putting together a risk management workshop next week, just to kind of gauge interest, see if you guys are interested. It looks like y'all are. So be looking today. Basically, this is going to be risk management to riches. It's going to help you understand how risk management proper risk management can actually get you where you want to go versus not doing it, right? I'm going to show you exactly how to do your risk management. Exactly. I'm going to show you different methods to use it depending on how you're trading. But it's going to be the things that you need to know as far as risk management goes. It'll be, I think we're going to do it. If you sign up for it, I want to reward people that sign up for it right away. So if you sign up for it in the first 24 or 48 hours, I haven't decided yet when I launch it, the sign up for it, it'll just be $49, guys. That's it. And then if beyond that, after the first 24 or 48 hours, whatever I decide, it'll be $99. But even for $99, it's going to be insane value, guys. If you've ever done anything with me, I just kind of tend to over deliver and push it. I've also got a bonus at the end. Won't tell you about it at the moment here, but anyway, so you guys get ready for that. All right. So that'll be next Wednesday. I think it'll probably be around 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, probably somewhere right around there. But like I said, I'll get that all set up today and you guys can sign up for it. And like I said, rewarding those of you that sign up early, get in for half price. And then we'll go from there. All right. So let me see here. What's going on, Hank? Hank is doing some traveling. He's enjoying the French hillside, I believe. I'm gonna be honest, man. Your food that you showed looked pretty on Twitter, but I'm a Texan. I like to eat. So hopefully it tasted as good as it looked. Mark, it was just posted. It was just posted on Twitter. I just got to put out a real quick thing. I figured I'd throw it out there real quick. See that? Hank says he's going to Spain tomorrow. Man, oh man. All right. Hank's the traveling guy. All right, guys. By the way, hey, did you see today? I posted a link just a bit ago. Let me see here. Has to do with Fidelity. Remember last week we kind of talked about the rumors going around about Fidelity and about them potentially putting in for a what do you call it? A Bitcoin ETF, a spot ETF, and then also potentially maybe and or buying GBTC, right? And I thought I had it pulled up here. You'll have to forgive me, guys. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah. So apparently, or at least according to the block here, the block has a source, they say, right? But they said they're as close to submitting. They're filing for a spot Bitcoin ETF. The filing is expected as soon as Tuesday, according to the report. and will make Fidelity the second major asset manager in recent days to submit an ETF application. Of course, the other one was BlackRock, right? Let me see here. So we've got this this article here, and basically the article just says that the filings are viewed as a vote of confidence for the crypto space, reigniting some retail interest in the industry, which had felt renewed pressure after Binance and Coinbase Global, two of the biggest crypto exchanges, came under fire from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Fidelity did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for comment, so we'll see what happens. But we know that Fidelity's got a pretty, it's pretty interested in crypto, right? Because they've got that digital assets section. I think it was 2018 they did that, right? So definitely no surprise there. But Fidelity's huge, guys. Fidelity is a giant. So again, I warned you guys selling, especially from that June low into the November low, and after that, I say no, all that selling's getting sucked up by institutions, right? The bigger professional pro traders. That's how Wyckoff works, right? And so, and all that selling that everybody's done over the last few months that we took out. It was 2+ months of downside that we took out in 6 or 7 days. We were right up back up, right? But all that selling you're doing, that's going into somebody's pocket, and it's not retail's pocket. Okay. And so the sooner you guys can understand this, the better or the more well-equipped you're going to be to actually trade the markets. Most retail comes in and all they think about is retail, right? Everybody talks about, institutions doing that, Wall Street doing that, but very few actually understand what they're talking about. So they're just kind of parroting stuff that they're hearing. But the more that you actually understand about it, the better you can position yourself, to get in, right? The better you understand what price action is doing. This is why you would have gone in when we were talking about the low down there in the 15,000s in November, right? And you would have gone in and all those breaks that we had that, I told you ahead of time how it was going to break up, and it's exactly what it did at the areas it did, right? But very few retail in the grand scheme of things are actually in there. Retail is still kind of scared, sitting on the sidelines or selling, because they still think after 7 months and over 100% of rally, they still think it's a bear market bounce. Now, for their part, most retail have no clue what they're talking about anyway. They don't know what they're doing. And so a big account gets on there like Capo, right? And says, oh my gosh, this is what it's going, or other people, right, with hundreds of thousands of followers. And they go, okay, well, they must know what they're talking about because they've got so many followers. Unfortunately, that's rarely the way it is, right? And so if you were listening to them, you've missed all this rally, all this. It doesn't mean it's over, but it does mean you need to start paying attention to what other people are saying now, because otherwise you're just going to find yourself falling by. It's going to be like every other market cycle, guys. I'm telling you, there's nothing different between what's going on with Bitcoin right now and what happens every other market, every other bear to bull market, cycle. It's the same thing. By the end of the bear market, a lot of retail's out. They don't come back, or they might come back at the new all-time highs, right? So then at the beginning of the bear market, there's very little, retail joining in, right? Other than selling, because they basically sold down toward the bottoms. And then as it goes up, you get a whole bunch of new participants. As it gets toward that new all-time high, you get a whole bunch of new participants. And those new participants think the same way the previous participants thought, which was the same way the previous participants thought. And it doesn't matter if you're talking about crypto or legacy, stocks or futures or metals or anything, guys. Human beings are the same. The market's the only thing that changes, and that doesn't change anything. So when you've been through these a few times, if you're paying attention, you'll start figuring it out. I'm trying to help you keep from having to go through it a few times before you figure it out. Or if you've been through it a few times and you haven't figured it out yet, I'm trying to help you figure it out. Because as long as you keep adhering to the same lines of thought that you've had since you got in, the more you're going to continue getting the same result, right? What do they say? The definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over, or insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? If you want change, you have to create change. You can't keep thinking the way you did when you came in and expect to do anything different, okay? So that's what I'm trying to do. Now, whether you pay attention, whether you're open to listening, whether you're coachable, whether all this, that's on you. I can't force you. But hopefully you're listening, all right? Soren, what's going on? Deadly, good to see you. Paul is here as well. Andrew Bennett. Andrew Bennett says, nice to have a hold account for Bitcoin. Corey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Hank says Capo is apparently taking some time off. Not sure, don't follow him. Yeah, I don't ever see his stuff pop up. It says I'm following him, but I never see his stuff pop up. So sometimes somebody will post something that I'll see, or, you know, they'll ask me something. That's what I do that, right? But yeah. So anyway, all right, guys, so let's jump on in here. Let's see what's going on. So let's talk about, let me kind of change this here. We'll get this here. There we go. Bigger charts here, right? So I've got some charts here, guys. Now, these are charts that I have posted a few months back, all right? And so I want to kind of go through them yet because we're starting to see some things happening, right? So I had this bear market to bull market stages chart here, right? And the idea is, 1, you print your swing low. 2 is your breakout above the 20 MA. 3 is the confirmation on the 20 MA. 4 is the rally to around the 61.8% of the bear market. And that completes around the Itchy Cloud's highest point. You know, like, again, here it is over here, right? Here's over here. It's over there. And then, oh, this is the weekly. Let me pop this back here to the monthly. There we go. There we go. That was on the monthly. But yeah, so let me see here. Oh, I had that on the thing. That's why. Oh, here we go. So we're actually doing all right here, guys. Actually, I'm a little bit off here. I had this on the monthly. I did not realize that. I posted it on Twitter on the monthly. This was based on the weekly. And so 2 was the breakout above the 20 MA. 3 is, you know, either that continued breakout, so, you know, pulls back a little bit, or it actually comes back and confirms on that 20. And then 4 is the rally to the 61.8 retracement, which is around the Itchy Cloud top there. And then 5 is going to be pulled back to prepare the big rally, right? So here we are, guys. Guess what? 2 is that breakout above there. 3 pulls back and confirms. We'll look for that rally up to the 61.8. 61.8, guys, get you up here. Mentally right up here around, you know, at least 61.8. So that'd be around here, 48,000 and some change right here, right? Minimally, okay? So I apologize on Twitter there, guys. I'll put up the new chart here with the weekly. But yeah, these are the stages here as we see that, right? So are you excited? Yeah, you should be, right? So that's kind of one thing we're looking at. As you can see here, we've just about broken out or hit that resistance there on the Ichimoku cloud here on the weekly. So, you know, you've got your twist here. You've got your bullish twist here in the previous one. And now you've got your bullish twist over here already as well, setting up on this current Ichi cloud. So looking to get above it, get up into this kind of green box here, you know, get you upper 40s, lower 50s, guys. Now, again, if you've been following me, you know that aligns with a whole bunch of things, including Elliott wave counts, point and figure targets, and whatnot. So, yeah, you know. Can I explain the Ichi cloud? What do you want me to explain about it? Basically, the Ichimoku cloud is just a couple of moving averages. That's all it is. It's moving averages that kind of determine, you know, and when it's red, it means it's bearish. It's in a downtrend. When it's green, it means it's bullish and an uptrend. So, yeah, looking at there. So, well, it doesn't matter, Hank. All I'm showing you is what I've got the settings on this cloud at. It's the same thing happens every time. It doesn't matter what the settings are here. It's just, it shows that it's the same thing happening over and over again. That's the point, okay? So, let's see here. Sounds like when you scratch it, you go away. You guys are crazy. 52,000 in July. I don't think we're rallying up into July. I can't say it wouldn't happen, but I really don't think that's what's going on here, okay? But again, you know, everything else kind of happening the same way here. When you get the retest of that 20, you've got this dip down into oversold on the Stochh RSI. Doing it again right here. I can't pull it over there. as we kind of get the pullback here. We get this nice large candle coming off it. A little bit harder to see here, but again, you can look at the chart there that I'll be posting later on Twitter, and you can see that. The other one I wanted to show you guys was this other chart I put out a few months back, right? And the big thing here was this purple line here, which was working as resistance, resistance, resistance. We popped above it, worked as support, rallying back up. You've got the green line, which is the 20 MA, right now breaking out above the 200 MA, which is the red. You've got the 50 MA curling up. You've even got the 100 MA here in blue starting to curl as well. So, you know, with these things curling up, this cross here, shorter term over the longer term, you know, again, that's just telling us that momentum is working upward, right? We did get the bullish cross down here and then weekly Stochk RSI after it reset down into oversold at support. And so, again, another chart that I put out there a few months back holds as going up, and we're just looking for the continued rally now, right? One other chart here that I posted. This, the blue lines are the halvings, right? These are the durations here. Like this is your bear market durations on top, okay? Notice 59 bars, 52 bars, 53 bars from all-time high to bear market low, okay? From the halving to the bear market low, 111 bars, 127 bars, and 131 bars. You know, stretching out a bit more there, but again, getting us toward this point here, right? Notice we're kind of at this same area here, it seems to be, on each of these, right? And so at least for the last few cycles here, it's been the pullback into the pivot, into the weekly pivot, and that holds its support, and it continues up, right? Here it is again. We pulled out here, and we've broken out above it, and we've gotten up, right? By the way, that's also on this red line here, which is the 21 EMA. Now, again, in this one, this isn't what usually happens. Again, this was a much bigger drop due to that whole, you know, COVID thing into the BitMEX liquidation engine, kind of driving everything down until they shut it off. But here we are again, on top of that 21 EMA, on top of the pivot, you know, similar areas of the RSI on the weekly here in every one of them, and with that similar areas of Stochk RSI. And so, yeah, you know, there's a lot of similarities going through all this. Again, you know, I'm just trying to show you guys different ways that you look at the chart that suggest the bottom is likely in. And I'm trying to do that because it seems like everywhere else you're hearing that the bottom's still to come. That no matter what Bitcoin continues to do, you keep being told the bottom's still not in. The bottom's still not in. They keep moving the goalpost, right? You know, first it was bears were like, first, okay, well, it's you know, it's not going to get past here at this 21, 22 area. And then it did. And then like, well, the real area is 25 here. And then it broke out. Well, the real area is 30,000 here, right? And, you know, and they keep moving it. Here's the thing, guys. If you've got somebody that claims they're a bear, but they refuse to tell you what their invalidation level is, they're trading emotionally. They don't have an invalidation level. That's the problem. And that's why they keep moving their goalpost up. You cannot do that as a trader and expect to make any money, guys. Okay? Or at least to keep any of your money. You have to always know when you're getting into a trade, where is my validation level? Where is my invalidation level? The validation level doesn't guarantee that you're correct, but what it says is at this point, at that level, I'm likely more correct than I am wrong. Your invalidation level is invalidation. If you drop through it, it says you are wrong. See, a lot of people use stop losses to tell them that they think that stop losses are there to save them money. And I mean, it does that. That's a side effect of it, right? But your stop loss is really there to tell you when you're incorrect. What you think is going on is incorrect. That's what your stop loss is there for. If done properly, it does save you money. But again, this is, you know, we're going to go deep into this on next week with that risk management to riches workshop, where we're really going to explain to you why and how and just how to do it and all that. So, but just understand your stop loss, guys. For now, I just need you to understand your stop loss is to invalidate your idea. It tells you that your idea is no longer correct. That is the purpose of the stop loss. It happens to also save you money if you position correctly and whatnot, which is all part of risk management, right? So yeah. Let me see here. Hank said he already made more in the 2023 bear market than in 2021. Yes, 2023 bear market is sarcasm. CS, slow down. I will get to Pepe when I get to it, okay? Oh my gosh. You guys need to relax a bit. Let me see here. All right, so let me kind of jump back over here. So that's kind of what we're looking at here, right? So we're looking at the idea that we're heading up there, right? So again, if we go back to my account that I'm looking at, right? This is what I've shown you guys. So we've got basically a 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, there is the possibility this could be a leading diagonal. This could be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we get a little 5 here, and then we pull back, okay? But until that happens, okay, until we drop below wave 2 here, I'm looking at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2. Again, remember what I just talked about invalidation levels. For this count to remain correct, price cannot drop below wave 2. If it drops below wave 2, that's going to suggest probably this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a leading diagonal. And then we get a pullback, probably, probably back down to this 25,000 area. I don't know. You can dip down a little bit further here, kind of into this congestion here, right? Now, again, this would, if we look here on the weekly, right, that pulls you down below the weekly pivot. So, again, it makes it kind of not so much likely, to kind of get this big move down into here. But we can't say it definitely can't happen. By the way, notice on the weekly, we are just breaking out of oversold, guys. We've got a lot of room to run on the weekly here, right? But, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. As long as wave 2 is holding as support, we're going to look for price to continue higher, right? And so, again, in terms of Wyckoff, where we were looking at, again, we've got the range here. What is the accumulation range here, right? With our terminal shakeout here, it's small range, and then it breaks out, does its thing, right? You jump across the creek up here. You get your pull back to the edge of the creek, which is what we were looking at all the time. Retest the top of the range as support, and then boom, fires off, right? Now, for this 1, 2, you get a circle 3 target up here. Minimum expected at 43,412. Okay? Minimum expected. That gives you a minimum expected larger degree wave 3 at 47,580.5, which leads to a minimum expected wave 5 at around 54,185. Now, does all this have to happen before halving? No, it doesn't. It seems to me, if we look based on previous and the idea of halving and whatnot, that this would happen before halving. The idea is that we print 5 waves up, we get our first wave done, we pull back then a few months into halving, and then we start on wave 3 after halving. So, just in terms of time, I don't usually do a whole lot of time analysis because, it's real easy to be wrong on that. You expend a lot of time and effort to be wrong. But if I was to look at a timing component and having being that, then generally I would expect to print those 5 waves up before that. And then a few months prior to having, start wave 2, at least a few months. So basically print wave 1 up through maybe Q4 of this year, end of this year. And then wave 2, is December of this year into, March, April, about April is when it's supposed to be, right? So that gives you basically a year of rally followed by 4 months of pullback for wave 2. And then you get wave 3, which starts, the rally into the new all-time high. So if I had to guess, that would be timing what I would expect, something like that. But it does not have to happen that way. I'm much more interested myself in targets, price level targets, not time. So, yeah. I'm not looking at having any kind of impact. I'm just talking about, price movement. Let's see here. You like my new logo there, Erquin? That's awesome, man. Appreciate that. Let me see here. So again, that's kind of, you know, if I had to say something, that's probably what I would say. You know, price, you know, seems to do its thing, you know, especially in the bear markets right around that November, December area. You know, and in the rallies as well, right? So, you know, again, we look up here, we get this all-time up here. This was November, right? November here. And of course, if we come back here, this was December right here. This up here was December. Yeah. So, you know, it's usually those last few months, that last kind of quarter of the year, where we usually find our swing highs and our swing lows in the cycles or in those areas of the cycles. You know, this would just be wave one. You know, this one we're talking about the complete cycle here. This would just be wave one. So not really adhering to that overall. But generally, you know, that last quarter is where things tend to change up a little bit. So we'll see, right? Why do I think it'll be a bullish summer? Aren't summer periods normally bearish? Well, you know, if you look at it, it depends on what market you're looking at. Why do I think summer will be bullish? I didn't say summer would actually be bullish, right? The only things I said about time is that maybe we print 5 waves up by, you know, the end of this, you know, November, December, maybe, right? I didn't actually say anything about summer. That said, you know, summer already is bullish, right? We have printed a higher high than what we had here in April. So, I mean, summer is already bullish. Does that make sense? Now, locally here, right here, I'm looking for this to finish a little bit higher here and then pull back. So I'm looking for this to be like a, you know, like a wave 1-2 kind of thing here. Let's do something like this, right? So just, you know, a bit further move up here. Potentially 32,000 and a half or so, somewhere right around there to get you that wave one, because I'm looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got a 5 still to go potentially. And so if we can do something like that and get that kind of target a little bit higher there, you know, again, you'll look for this pullback, maybe 28.5 or so, give us a 50%. Now, here's the thing. This could be still, this doesn't have to be done right here. This doesn't have to be 5 up here. This could still be wave 3 finishing out, overextending, right? So the waves, instead of just doing the normal waves, right, wave 3 would be, again, subdividing into other waves. So minimally looking up here around that 32,000, some change level there, but definitely willing to look at maybe this becomes, you know, still all part of 3 up here before in a pullback and we get a 5 up. So overall, still looking to go higher, right? The fact that we just spent right here 2 months pulling back, whoops. The fact that we did that, we shouldn't have a similar kind of length of a pullback now. So, you know, again, maybe we get a couple of weeks, maybe we get a month. But if we're looking in terms of, you know, we're just coming up on July now, you know, and summer lasts what, into August, into almost September, right? Again, we should ultimately likely be heading higher by the end of summer. So, you know, is summer really bearish? Like I said, right now we're already above it. So right now it's bullish, right? Does that make sense? So let me see here. So yeah, again, looking for this to kind of continue higher here is the idea. The idea basically we've got like a 1, 2, and then let me see here, 1, 2, and then we got like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives us 3, 4, and then maybe a 5 coming up there. But as I said, this could still just be, this right here could still just be wave 3 opening up here of this interior of this wave 1, right? So we could see that continuing higher up there. We'll see what goes on as we break out through that swing high to kind of get it figured out a bit more. Nonetheless, overall, just kind of continuing to expect Bitcoin to continue higher. Again, remember, weekly is just now not even neutral yet, out of oversold here. So potential a lot more here to head higher up. Let me see here. So that'd be the day. What was that? 3 days. 3 days basically printed 3 white knights here. These 3 candles off that swing low, the bullish engulfing down here at the tweezer bottoms on S1 support. I mean, guys, look, if you're looking at trading and you see this right here, look at this. Okay, so first we go look, tweezer bottoms here, potential rally up about halfway. There's a good chance this might be rallying up, but you still want to see that break out of that swing high just above the pivot, right? But let me see here. If you don't get it, you get rejected there and pull back instead. And then you see this happening, right? Where you now have tweezer bottoms around that S1 pivot and a bullish engulfing candle after this. I mean, there's absolutely no reason you should not be going long right there. I mean, just this setup here. Tweezer bottoms on support, rejected the pivot, drops down just slightly lower, tweezer bottoms again. And these actually found support right here. There's previous resistance. And then you've got a bullish engulfing candle and volumes continue to drop. Man, you should be long on. There's no reason you shouldn't be long on that. And there's actually the finish there, right back up to those previous areas of resistance. And of course, that just gets you toward, big candles up, right? So again, 3 white knight looking candles right here, which is bullish and usually indicates continued rally, right? So that's what we're kind of looking at there. I don't know how many other ways I could show this to you guys. Hey there, Diego. Again, guys, myself nor anybody else can convince you of anything. You're the one that has to convince yourself. But you can't do that if you're not open and willing to listen and to really be, honestly to listen. Not just hearing, but actually listening, right? And most people don't. Most people are pretty emotional and shoved up in their emotions, and they say, oh yeah, I'm listening, but they're really not. You ever heard that person come like this with their arms closed looking like this? Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead, I'm listening. Yeah, that's most traders. If it's something that's different than what they think. Okay, so yeah, but I'll continue to give you information here, guys, as I see it and explanations why, and hope that that you are paying attention at some point there, right? Let's jump over here. What's going on with the Dixie here, the DXY, right? So this right here, the dollar futures, I believe the DXY itself has not broken down below this wave B swing low, but it did here on the futures. So again, if this is A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C here, then breaking down should indicate that wave 2 is completed, almost a 61.8 retracement. Look to head lower, right? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to continue lower from here. If we look at that. So, again, and we should take out the swing low here. This 100.42 area. Again, guys, overall, still looking for a move down toward 90, 92, 93, around that area. What is that weekly pivot? S1 pivot here. Yeah, looking on down here, at least, minimally, we've got a target of like a wave 3 target down here at around 95.5, 95.8. S1 pivot gets us 93.665. And, again, if this is an A and a B, wave C is going to equal wave A right here at around 91.765. You can see that the weekly has a lot of room still to fall on the RSI and the Stochk RSI. So, and this is all big candles right here. Easy to move down through. So, yeah, still looking for that lower on that. I don't see a whole lot of excitement for a dollar rally, really, overall. Let's see. Okay, so that's kind of that. VIX, we've been talking about the VIX. It's already hit a low down here, right there around that 12.95 area. Rally back up, just pulling back again. And again, as I talked about, as long as it's hovering below 16, we should expect price continue rallying, right? Or in this case, not price, but that's the S&P. So the index there to continue doing that. So yeah, and people assume that just because it's down here, there has to be some violent move, like these other ones here. Yeah, you often get something like that. So yeah, it can happen, but it doesn't have to happen, right? I mean, let's look at this one right here. Look at this violent move up from down here around 11.5, right? Violent move back up. It was just this little move here from like 31.50, 31.60 to 30.73. That wasn't even like a 100-point move off that for that big, violent move right there, right? Notice it remained below 16, continued to rally, right? We finally got this violent move out. And again, I mean, 33, 37 to 32, just over 100 points on the pullback there. The breakout rallies back down, right? So don't expect that you have to get some violent move up necessarily. You'll usually get a large move as you're getting down here toward this 12 area or whatever, a little bit below that. But, in this case, it would just be, our expected kind of pullback after all this rally, right? So, yeah, not too bad right there. So, again, looking here, if we look at this as a barrier triangle, kind of gives us a target up here at around 46, 41.50. This pullback right here, as you can see, is in 3 waves so far. And now we're trying to get this rally up. This is the daily on the E-minis for the S&P. You can see that we've reset down into oversold, and we're kind of curling, starting to curl here, get back up. So, I mean, I would minimally, if we can break out above this swing high here at 44.27 on the E-minis here, I mean, minimally, I'd be looking to go at least to 45.72 and a quarter from where we are right now. And I'll tell you what, if we're there, we might just make that little bit extra oomph up to that R5 pivot. Still a little bit higher there. And of course, that'll hit the target on this as well. So it looks like we want to rally up looking for a breakout above 44.27 right now. Give us a minimum target up there at around 45.72 and a quarter. Gareth, what's going on, man? Glad to have you checking in. Let me see here. As we continue here, here's Pepe for the impatient. I did mention, online, here back on, what was that, the 21st. As I said, are you long Pepe yet? I'm thinking you should be. The recent daily rally suggests the pullback is likely complete. And of course, this is the 4-hour chart here. The weekly certainly appears to be saying so. Large candle spread down, doji, and then large candle spread up here on the weekly. So I'm talking about this right here. And that was when this wasn't quite as high up, right? This was before the weekly was done. But you had the large candle spread down. You had your doji. And then you had the large candle spread up, right? So suggest that that's done and over. We're going to head higher. And so if I look at this here, again, I'm looking to get above wave B here at 208,859. If we can break out above that, that adds confidence to this wave 4 count. Gives us a minimum expected wave 5 at about 673,125. Locally here, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to get a 5 here. Let me zoom in a bit. By the way, notice we are above the hourly pivot here. Let's see here. So it looks like maybe ABC and then WXY. But nonetheless, it looks like 3 waves here. 2, 3. And then, so we're looking to get above this one right here at 1676 and 60. 1669.11. So we're almost there. So we can break out above that. That should indicate we're heading up higher again. Looks like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll give us a 5 up there at the R1 pivot, right around 196,773. And if that's 1, yeah, that 50% pullback gets you right around that pivot. So kind of up in that area, minimum expected on that move there. Excuse me. Again, you can look this as 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, ABC. Again, if we look at the pullback here, it's 38.2, just about 38.2, kind of what we expect. So yeah, looking for a little bit of breakout right there to rally us up there, but then overall, up there to the R1 pivot on the hourly, but then overall, much higher up there for 5. So that's what I'm looking at. Let me see here. So yeah, I mean, right here, I'd look for probably a rally up to this area, pull back down toward the support, this wave 4 here, and then that rally up higher. Let's see here. I'm interested in this BNB Bitcoin pair here right now, because watch this. If we zoom out here, right? Let me zoom out to the monthly. So this right here is our monthly demand structure, and we are just shy of the EQ right here. Looks like an A, B, C. And, if we're looking at this here, I mean, again, we got to look at the big picture here, right? So, again, the idea being that this is a corrective pullback just beyond the S1 pivot on the monthly, weekly here. But look at that weekly. That weekly is oversold. Stochc RSI. We have volume showing up as we get into this area right here. Again, signaling that maybe we might be kind of getting toward the bottom. Again, just shy of the EQ here. And so if we zoom into the daily's printing bullish divergence. But if I'm looking at this, I've got 1, 2, 3. This is 4. So based on the height of wave 4, we should be looking at this target, this EQ area here, right around 74.70, 74.90, I guess, somewhere right around there potentially. Now, I'm not telling you go out here and buy BNB or whatever, but with everybody being so down on it, that's usually where I start taking interest and look at charts. Everybody swears it has to go to, to zero because Binance is having all these issues and whatever. And, it may go. But when people start talking in mass about this type of stuff this way, after we've already had a big drawdown, then it usually is where you should start, looking and getting interested. You got a lot of volume picking up again in this area. So we'll see if we can pop that back up. But just kind of something I'm watching there as time goes on, right? I gave you the target for the wave 5, CS. Let me see here. NVIDIA, remember we had looked at this when we were down here, and I said either we break out here and head up to the R1 pivot, and potentially if we get there, then 450, and then beyond that, we could potentially hit 503. And I said, or we were going to get, not head up and break out, we were going to pull back and then go up. So we got the rally up to the target area. As a matter of fact, 440 was that target area, about that. We got 439.90, not too bad. But right here, this is only 3 waves on the pullback right here, guys. 3 waves on the pullback. So if I look at that, and I look in here and I go, okay, well, it looks like we may have like a 1, 2, and then a 3, 4, and then a 5. So this gets interesting. So now I'm saying, man, if we're breaking out up here, right? If we're breaking out higher here, I think there's a good chance this could be a 1. Let me just start getting rid of some of this stuff now here. Let me see. Because this pullback is just beyond the 50% here in 3 waves. So if we're breaking out above, this kind of this, what is this here? I guess 434 and 26 cents. If we're breaking out above that, this could be 5 waves up, and that would get us 534.50 up here. Now I know Hank was thinking 500, so this kind of gets up there around where he's thinking. Everybody's still overly excited about AI and AI stocks or whatever. We had bearish divergence right here leading into this top here. which you see right here on the daily, right? And then we got the pullback. And then now we've got hidden bullish divergence off the swing lows there, right? So we had bearish divergence into hidden bullish divergence. So yeah, there's a possibility. Current interval, let me see, current interval. Okay, there we go. That we're getting, again, another 5 waves up there. So that could look pretty interesting. So yeah. Let me see here. So yeah, again, kind of hit our initial target there, that 440 area, pulled back in what appears to be maybe 3 waves here. And so looking for a breakout higher here, and then we'd look for, wave 3 minimum expect to be 509, wave 5 minimum expect to be 534.40 kind of area right there. So definitely not looking terrible at the moment here, especially if we can get that, right? For those of you interested in Bitcoin dominance, it keeps on pushing, right? So I'm looking at this now thinking, okay, we've got 1, 2, and then maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so man, this thing might even be breaking out higher here. I don't know if you're interested in this. I'm looking like in an overextended wave 3 here is what I'm looking at. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I guess they give us a 3, a 4, and a 5 here. So actually, 3 would be here. 4 would be a little bit pullback there. 5 would be a bit higher as well, if that count's going to continue to play out. Again, the idea being we got a 1, 2 here, and then an overextended wave 3, which it seems to be with the volume, right? So wave 3 volume is larger than wave 1 volume right here. And then volume tapers off usually in wave 5. So we'll see if that continues to play out. If we get a breakout higher, we'll look up there toward $52.22, right in that area. See if we can get a wave 3 there, and then we look for wave 4 to pull back kind of in this area, and then wave 5 again to break out a bit higher there. So, Eric, no, I haven't posted updated chart in Discord. Remember, I just do the updates for dominance chart there on Fridays, just once a week on that. So we take that more macro view of it and kind of move with it. So yeah, I haven't actually updated this right here. Andrew says, going back to BNB USDT. I wasn't on BNB USD. I was on BNB Bitcoin. BNB against Bitcoin, not against the dollar or dollar derivatives there. So yeah. If we're looking at that though, I don't know what time frame you're looking at. You're saying what? It looks like we could be setting for spring right at the bottom of the range. Let me zoom out a bit more. Oh, right here maybe? I wouldn't look at it that way. This is the range right here. This is the rally up into some distribution here, some redistribution here. So I would expect it to print its own range here. Yeah, I don't know that I would necessarily consider this whole thing a range here. I would be looking at this kind of buying climax into the selling climax into the automatic rally, secondary test. Kind of move down here into this thrust up into an LPS here. Last point of support. So I guess for me, the range would look like this probably. Like that there. And then, of course, just that quick distribution up there comes down, a little bit more distribution comes down. But you notice, guys, there isn't a whole lot of volume up here. There isn't a whole lot of volume. So what it's saying is there's not a whole lot of buying as it's coming down. It's just a little bit of selling. That's what we're seeing here. There wasn't a whole huge bit of volume over here, especially compared to what we had, previously over here, right? So I don't know. You know, again, people talk about BNB dying, but it seems to me that people aren't really selling it in some great mass, right? Compared to what they were buying for it over here. So just something to think about, guys, you know, if you're of that mind. But definitely interested in what goes on in this area right here that I was talking about before we get them, you know, see if we can get some kind of rally that takes on off higher there. Oh, you were just talking about Bitcoin USDT. Okay. Oh, okay. So you said I think you said since we were talking about it, right? Oh no, you said going back to BNB USDT. Oh, I guess you had a USD target there. Okay. I see what it is. See, I can't always catch every comment that comes through, right? Let me see here. Let's clean this up a bit. BNB USD. Oh, USDT, I guess. There we go. Just pop that on there. You said on the daily? So I assume looking at something like this. See, that would be the range right there. I mean, right now, you know, again, we're finding some support here. I don't know if I'm looking at this. Kind of zoom out a little bit more. I mean, my first thing is rejection around the pivot area here, which tells me if it does take it out, we should be good to go higher there. This is an A, B, C down. So A, B, and then, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C, right? This looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This looks like ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, did we get a swing low here? 220.40 cents, 220. I mean, right now, you know, if we're looking at this real quick, again, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then ABC here. This could actually be, instead of leading diagonal, I think this might be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it gives us a 1, ABC, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like a, you know, expanded flat correction here that almost took out the swing low. So yeah, it's kind of right now, it's iffy right now on what we're seeing here. But if this thing starts taking, I mean, it's, you know, it's clear runway here to rally back up. So if we see that, I think the odds are that we're going to break out higher here and just keep up. Again, from here, it does look like this is 3 waves down and done. And this does appear to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, right? And then this is pretty clearly 3 waves down. So yeah, that's what I'd look at, you know. So yeah, I mean, yeah, if I'm looking at that, what I'm really interested, just looking at this guy's price action wise, there's this swing low right here from February of 21, right around 186.10. And then you have this one from June of last year at 183.40. And then you have this one at 220 from December of last year. And then you've got this one that we just had in June, earlier this month, at 220.40 cents. So, and then of course we had these right here as well. So, I mean, if we look at this, we can go, well, man, what's got me interested is there is stopping power all along this kind of area here, right? And if you're not paying attention to that, you know, again, I think you're doing it wrong, right? I'll show you all these little areas here. Look at this, all in this same area, right? And then we talked about the lack of real selling going on, well, at least on the Bitcoin or on the Bitcoin pair, right? Look at this. So, I mean, in this area here over however long this has been, last few years, right? Over 840 days, we have continued to find support all in this area here. And so, you know, at this point off the swing high here, we've got a high, a low, lower high, lower low. But that's it so far. This may be a lower high, but we won't know that unless price, you know, breaks down below the lower low. Until then, this could be the last lower low we had up higher, right? So what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at a breakout, you know, structurally on the weekly here from the all-time high. We're looking for a breakout above that that next lower high, right? Again, high, low, lower high, potentially. Well, I mean, that is a lower low there. And then we got to get above that. I mean, that's all there is to it as far as the structure goes, right? So, I mean, that to me is what I find interesting on that, right? So without even looking at anything, without looking at you know, Wyckoff or Elliott Wave or anything, seeing all these wicks down into this area, basically this range of this range right here, right? From 187.5 to about 239, 240. Yeah, just about that. Yeah. I mean, this is a lot to pay attention to right here. And notice, as we've continued through here, notice that volumes continue to drop off, guys. We're getting volume down at the lows. So yeah, if I was to set this as a range here, if I was looking at Wyckoff, this would be my range right here. So this is your preliminary supply. This is your buying climax. This is your automatic reaction. This is your secondary test. But this automatic reaction, you know, if this is accumulation here, reaccumulation becomes your your selling climax. And then you kind of get this rally up, and then you get this move down, and here's a spring, right? And we can look at the spring and go, well, there's the volume on the spring, which is significantly lower than the volume at the selling climax, which is what you want to see, right? And then we rally back up. So then you get this show of strength here. You kind of fall back. And you're getting here. So now, again, you have your volume here. And then your recent low volume is right there. So, again, another pullback on lesser volume, potentially a higher low on that pullback. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of take off there. Head up there. People are way too bearish on it. You know, everybody got their opinion that it's got to go to, to zero. But, again, everybody thought that in Sol back in December, right? December 31st, when it was down in the $9 range. And I said it was a buy there, right? So, again, interesting low in on that, what we're looking at. Let's see. Again, Link, guys, I'm telling you, I told everybody they're sleeping on Link here. We popped down, barely got any movement out of that. Volume off. I mean, this classic accumulation here. We got a spring test right over there. Popped up higher, show of strength. Looking for this to continue up higher. I think, again, you've missed an entry on Link there if you thought it was going to, to continue lower here. Again, everybody, when this happened, was like, oh, my God, it's going to zero. I told you. And instead, it's, heading the other way up. So looking for an impulsive breakout above the descending channel resistance here, which is also, as you can see here, the EQ of this black range, right? This is just the swing high up here in the green. But we should get an impulsive breakout here. That's what I'm going to look for. That breaks us out higher here, and that'll give us. If we can get that big candle spread through this area right here, this $7 to $9 area, big spike of volume, large candle spread. That'll be our jump across the creek, and it'll signal that accumulation is done. And then we'll look for the breakout higher there. Breakout above the pivot at $13 and whatever that is, $13.20 or so. Break above that impulsively. That should be all she wrote. We should continue up higher. and likely to a new all-time high. So all-time high right now, guys, sitting at 52.99. So a lot of potential upside to this. What would that be? If this plays out like that, you're looking upwards of, 750% on that. So it'd be a good one, right? So, yeah. Let me see here. FTM. I've looked at that a while back. Let me see what we got here. I haven't looked at it lately. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like about a month or a little bit more than a month ago I looked at it. What did we have then? Okay, yeah, so it moved down lower with the breakdown there. Let me change this. Let me see if we can see where we're at on this now. 27th June. All right, so this one coming on down here, we would have to assume is done here. It's almost that was about a 90% pullback on that. Let's see. This looks like we've got a flat correction here for wave B, right? So it'd be like an ABC up, and then an ABC down, and then it'd be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That so looks like that may be what we've got going on here. Oh, doggone it, hit the wrong one. Let me see here. All right. Hey, by the way, guys, if you want me to send you the heads up the minute I release that the sign up for that workshop, because there's only they can only hold so many seats. Send me a DM on Twitter or on our Discord server or something like that. Let me know, and that way I can send you a link out the minute I put that out there, so you can jump in on that. Let me see here. Yeah, so I think that's what we're looking at here on FTM. But you're going to want to get above. Where's the swing high here? Is that 50? Where's it? There we go. 54,658. You're going to want to get above that to add confidence to the count and suggest that wave 3 is truly in progress. From here, that gives us wave 3 target right around $1, almost $1.01. So I've got and that's minimum expected. Remember, it can overextend as always, but right there around $1 is where we would minimally expect it to kind of get to. Whoops. Try that again. There we go. Let's see. Just gotta check this channel out here real quick. Oh yeah, look at that's a beautiful throw under of the channel here. Rally back up. So yeah, if I'm looking at that, nice bit of volume coming in at that. A lot of movement around this low here, which makes sense, right? Because you had this low back over here in May of last year. Kind of do this. So yeah, you kind of had this area right here, right? And so you've got still that same kind of dip down below there. And really, it just kind of gets you to this. If you look across, you can kind of see that it takes you right there through all that. So, I mean, me personally, things I look at, again, we get the rejection right now at the EQ here. So an impulsive breakout above the EQ of this descending channel resistance give you a target of the descending channel resistance. So impulsive breakout above the EQ will give you a target of the resistance. Impulsive breakout above that should rally you up to the swing high. Along the way, you'll take out wave B. That'll add confidence to the minimum expected wave 3 target up here at around $1. Yeah. You can see that, you had all this downtrend, started moving sideways, pull back. And so we're looking to see if we can break that up. If you do break down below wave 2, then, that'll invalidate it. But right now, that's what we're looking for. On that, let's see here. Let me see. I got time. Yeah, I got time. So GRT and Ethereum. Okay, I can do those. Let's make a copy here. GRT. Let's see here. But yeah, guys, I think Hank mentioned it there a little bit earlier. Same thing I keep telling you guys. If Bitcoin is rallying up, then generally just about everything else should be expected to rally with it overall, right? If the bottom's in for Bitcoin, then the bottom should generally be expected to be in with everything else. So just something to keep in mind there. Let's see here. I mean, it's an okay wedge. So, yeah, I'll look at this wedge here. Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at this, we've got all this sideways here. You can see that you get the high volume node right here. And you can see how that's held as support there. You just had the wick down, that wick catching right at this point right here. So see right there, the resistance support is. You can continue pulling this. You'll see it. See how that works all the way across there? So, your major support on that high volume node, but the wick down into that secondary support just a bit lower, which is this low volume node right here. And then, of course, you've got just a bit lower little high volume node there. But yeah, if I'm looking at this, it looks like ABC, 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 or WXY. But yeah, so, ABCs and ABCs gives you a WXY retracement. Y there. And if we're looking at this, with this degree of pullback, it looks like that would be a wave 2. And the time it's taken from February till, where is that? Till the beginning of June there. Pullback 78.6, yeah. So, I would look at this probably something along the lines of, let me see here. Yeah, it looks like maybe like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets us 5 up there. Oops. And so then we get our 2, 3, 4, 5, which gives us then a target of what? Let's see, it gives us a target here of 38.03. So basically about 38 cents. Minimum expected wave 3 target, of course. Which, makes sense. Like it's right into this support resistance area. Wave 5 a little bit higher up, right into this next kind of resistance area. If wave 3 doesn't overextend, of course, right? So yeah, if I'm looking at that, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What do we want to see? We want to see a, let me kind of just change this a bit here. We want to see an impulsive breakout above, this descending channel resistance. And then we need to break out above wave X here at 17.5 cents. to add confidence to the count and say that wave 3 is definitely most likely in progress there. Doesn't mean you have to wait that long, but that is that validation level on this larger count. So again, the importance of validation and validation level, guys, right? So, but we should be heading up locally. That's your minimum expected where we'd be. Let me see, Ethereum USD. Let's see, is that the chart I want to use? No, let's try, let's do this. Let's make a different one. Let's get the bigger picture here. All right. Don't forget, guys, I'll be on with Scott Melker there tomorrow morning at, I think I'll be on probably right around 8:30 or so, Central Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So the big thing, I think, about Ethereum, guys, is to pay attention to this right here. Okay? Resistance through here. And so taking out that top there should get us going. Let me zoom out a little bit larger time frame here. You can see rejected at the pivot initially. I can't even say it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't like that a whole lot. A good look. This right here is the good breakout right here. See that large candle spread and a bit of volume there compared locally. That's what we want to see. All it did was pull back to this previous area of resistance right here. Rally up higher, breaks down, it's coming up. So yeah, if I'm looking at this, let's see here. This could be, this could be a 1-2. Let me see what I just meant. 2, 5. Yeah, I mean, this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4. Get a bit of a 5 there. Or it could be a 1, 2, 1, 2. I guess similar to Bitcoin, right? But just starts out further back here. This looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. Actually, if I'm looking at this, okay, let me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So that gives us a 1, 2 here. And then if I get into here, it looks like actually maybe ABC here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe like a running flat is what this looks like right here. So ABC down, ABC up, and then 5 down here gives us a running flat. So that's what this potentially looks like. If it is, it'll give us a wave circle 3 target minimum expected right around 27.14 or so. And then wave 3 itself, minimum expected target up here actually of just a bit higher up there. Yeah, see that 29.21, which would be the wave 3, this larger count, hits almost the 29.70, which would be the wave 5 target on that interior count. So I think that's probably a pretty good area to be looking at for right now. And of course, things could overextend and, counts could prove not to be correct. But right now, this guides us, as price kind of rallies there. That'll give us the wave 3, minimum expected wave 3. And by the way, I'm not doing time here, guys. Don't worry about where it is in terms of, I'm just giving us some room to see it play out maybe. Let's see. And so that'll give us a wave 4 pullback. Kind of this 38.2 or 50% area kind of gets us just right to this same area here. Let's just say 38.2, which is around 22.44, 45. That would potentially have us up here at about 3,422, which puts us just prior to all this up here. If it does pull back 50%, it'll get us a little bit higher, but this great little guideline right here for where we'd kind of be looking. You can notice here on the weekly that we've just crossed bullishly after dipping into oversold, broke back out, crossed bullishly. You can see that we have, well, nope, that ain't going to work. Okay, I was looking to see if we had some kind of hidden bearish divergence here, but it doesn't actually start at the swing low. It starts up here in this other candle. So we won't worry about this divergence. But, you know, this kind of aligns with what we'd be looking for as far as Bitcoin, right? That rally up into that top area there. Let me see here. Where's my Bitcoin chart? No. What are we looking at? We're looking at this one, yeah. We'll just on this one here. But that idea that we're looking right here, right? That same kind of initial resistance before the swing high. Same thing here. Initial resistance before the swing high. Same kind of target area for Ethereum that we've got there on Bitcoin. So I like that. That works out well for me. Yeah. Again, guys, if your things are not above the weekly pivots, watch for an impulsive breakout above those weekly pivots, and you want to see it close above it. So you're talking about a large candle spread on the weekly, nice spike of volume on that breakout above the weekly pivot. If you can do that, then most likely that those lows are in, and you're going up higher. Once you break out through the weekly like that, usually the weekly becomes the price doesn't go lower than the weekly. If it pulls back, it's just to the weekly pivot and continues up higher. So, yeah. Dutch government made you have to switch your exchanges, Hank. So now I am more actually trading again. Happy they did. Well, hey, whatever works, right? So anyway, guys, yeah, there's some of the thoughts on some of those charts and what we're looking at. Again, guys, it's not that I have some kind of bullish bias or something. Just looking at the charts. Whether you're looking at Elliott Wave or Wyckoff, especially if you look at them together, if you're looking at Ichimoku clouds, if you're looking at pattern recognition, from previous repetitions, of cycle lows and whatnot. If you're looking at pivots, I mean, every way you're kind of looking at these things, there's very little saying that it's actually that the bottom isn't in. As a trader, you never know exactly. Here's the thing, guys. As a trader, you never know exactly what's going to happen, okay? There are no guarantees. You don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball. That's why risk management is the absolute most important thing that you'll ever do day in and day out as a trader. I'm telling you guys right now. And so many of y'all keep slacking on it. I know, because you text me and, DM me and you're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, well, what about your risk management? Well, I'm like, yeah, you kind of put yourself in these bad situations by not using it, right? I'm telling you guys, you are not going to get where you want to go in terms of your trading progress if you don't take risk management seriously. That's why that workshop's entitled, Risk Management to Riches, because without it, you're not going there. But with it, you've got a really good chance of making it. Your risk management helps protect you against your just being human, your mistakes, your emotions, right? Now, obviously, they won't. If you move your stop loss or something, right, because you're emotional, well, obviously it's not going to help. But risk management in general, that's what it does. So, okay, guys, that's it. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put something together today where you can sign up for that if you want. If you get signed up in the first, I'm not sure, 24 or 48 hours, I'll decide when I do it. You're going to get it for half price. But even, it'll be $49. If you get in after that, it'll be $99. But hey, even at $99, what you're going to learn is exactly what you need to know about risk management. No having to look it up online, no having to wonder if somebody's telling you, everything you need to know. You're going to know everything you need to know to use proper risk management with that. And like I said, there's going to be a little bonus there at the end. But I'd love to have you do that. I think it'll be next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think it's probably a good time for it. So again, if you are interested in that, before I put it up there and you want to be notified the minute I post it, send me a DM on Twitter or send me a DM on what's it called? On Discord. I keep pointing to it here like you guys can see it, right? And then I'll make sure that you guys, I'll send you the link the minute it goes out so you can make sure you get in there and not worried about it, okay? Yeah, so there you go, guys. A lot of things happening, a lot of stuff coming in, podcasts coming up, things going in. Like I said, if you haven't already, check out that podcast with Gary Cardone that I did there. You can find it here on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Texas West Capital. On that front page at the top, it should be podcast. It's the first one in there, And while you're here, make sure you like and comment and follow me. Subscribe to the channels wherever you're watching at. And we'll be back on Friday, all right? Remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. That's absolutely it, guys. All right. You guys have a great week, and I will see y'all Friday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, all right? Take care.